Welcome, folks, to our next episode of Trek Simplified. In today's episode, we will be covering the D-7 class battlecruiser of the Imperial Klingon Navy. History-wise, the D-7 class served as the backbone of the Klingon fleet from the late 2250s through the 2270s. In which time they posed a serious threat to the security of the Federation and Starfleet. Among the mission profiles designated for this class, surprisingly enough, was that of scout ship. In addition, going back a little bit, the D-7 was introduced in 2257 by Chancellor Laurel as she presented the ship's schematics to the Klingon High Council. She hoped the design would enter mass production and be a symbol of Klingon unity embraced by all houses. One of the first D-7 class vessels ferried Chancellor Laurel to meet with the USS Discovery at Bereth. Several of these ships later fought the Section 31 Armada in support of Discovery and USS Enterprise. Then in 2261, at least one of these ships, by 2261, at least one of these ships had fallen victim to the scavenger ship, as seen in SNW, the sailor who ate its tail. The Romulan Star Empire began using the same design by 2268. As referenced in the original series, The Enterprise Incident. Then by the 2270s, the Katinka class, a variation of the D-7, had largely replaced the original D-7 design. By 2377, the D-7 had been largely retired for decades. The Federation nevertheless continued to show interest in this class well into the 2370s, as data on this class was commonly found within numerous Starfleet files. At least one D-7, as well, remained operational until 2377, when it was used by a Klingon religious sect that left the Klingon Empire in the mid-23rd century on a multi-generational quest to the Delta Quadrant. This vessel was destroyed when the ship's commander, Kolar, initiated a self-destruct. As for the technical data on this, for its physical arrangement, the D-7 class was almost predatory in its appearance, with a spread-wing primary hull, long neck, and head-like command pod. The early Romulan variants had a large bird of prey design painted on the hull, identical to what was found on the bird of prey. Other Romulan D-7s had red and yellow feather-like detailing painted on the upper wing and nacelle pylons. The bulk of the ship's overall mass was incorporated in the aft section of the ship, much like the bird of prey. This is kind of a theme for all of the Klingon ships. The bridge was located on the bulbous head, which was separated from the aft section by a relatively thin neck that flared out into the wings. Jutting from below the wings were a pair of outboards warp nacelles. The ship's impulse engines were located in the caudal section of the ship. This is almost word for word from what I had in my notes before. This design had evolved from a classic design lineage dating back well into the 22nd century with the early D-5 class battlecruisers. In terms of dimensions, it was comparable in size to the Federation's Constitution class starship. In terms of its tactical systems, during the mid-23rd century, the D-7 class posed a significant threat to the Federation, with the class's impressive armament consisting of two retractable, nacelle-mounted disruptor cannons, a forward launcher capable of firing photon torpedoes, magnetic pulses, and disruptor blasts, as well as a bunch of other stuff. In 2269, the Klingons developed a prototype weapon described as a projected stasis field, which was first encountered on the IKS Groth, by the Federation. The field could be projected in up to 3 different directions at one time. This weapon, which was extremely powerful, was capable of completely paralyzing an enemy vessel, including all of its vital systems. It was, however, equally crippling to the firing ship itself. Ultimately, it was determined by the Federation that this was so impractical in standard combat that it posed no real threat. While the D-7 cruiser was often viewed as a threat to a Constitution-class starship under certain circumstances, it was possible for a Constitution to destroy a single D-7 with a barrage of phaser fire. Following such an instance at the outbreak of the Federation-Klingon War in 2267, the USS Enterprise encountered a fleet of D-7s which was considered by Captain James T. Kirk to have superior odds. Despite these odds, however, Hikaru Sulu was confident the Enterprise could have defeated them. By the late 24th century, these vessels were considered rather antiquated and were identified as being inferior in firepower to a Federation Intrepid-class starship. Additionally, the D-7 had a cloaking device. Like its predecessor, the Romulan bird of prey, the Romulan D-7 was equipped with cloaking technology. Klingon ships had begun being outfitted with cloaking devices as early as 2269. One of the first Klingon vessels to acquire the new technology was the IKS Klothos. The cloaking device on this class could be penetrated by a metaphasic sweep. As for the propulsion system, some Klingon ships in the 23rd century were equipped with a S2 graph unit, which was roughly equivalent to the warp drives of the Federation's Constitution-class starships. The warp drive of the D-7 enabled it to catch up with a ship traveling at warp 9. Wow. In addition, the D-7's impulse drive consisted of 4 port engines, presumably giving the ship enhanced maneuverability at sublight speeds. As for its shields, the D-7s were equipped with standard shields, with their number 3 and 4 shields being specifically located amidship. Last but not least, we have the interior design. We have the main bridge, referred to by the Romulans as Control Central. The bridge was the nerve center of the D-7 class. It's for its crew complement. The average crew complement of Klingon D-7 was comparable to that of Constitution class and consisted of around 430 crew. There was also a conference room inside of them, which was used as a meeting place for the ship's senior staff. For mission briefings, it contained a triangular table embossed with the emblem of the Klingon Empire, with each side of the table having its own set of chairs. Surrounding the table and were various computer consoles. Last but not least, this ship had recreation facilities. The D-7 class starships had very few, but did have some spaces for recreation. That being said, they were very few and very sparse because the D-7 class was a warship. Most of the space was dedicated to weaponry. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is about all I have on the D-7. Just so you guys are aware, I am using the I don't know how you want to call it, a website called Fandom. It's known as Memory Alpha, for all of the information on these ships. So there's a lot of smaller websites for like Federation ships, but not a lot for other things like Klingons and Romulans and Ferengi and what have you. So Memory Alpha is kind of where I'm going for. If you want to check this out and see what I'm working with, go over and check out Memory Alpha on Google. Check it out. As for my personal feelings on the D-7, I've seen it in the past in other episodes of like TNG and the motion picture, obviously, series, and definitely I've seen it make appearances in Deep Space Nine. It's a tough, badass ship. Not quite as flashy or as speedy and zoomy as the Bird of Prey. And it's a little confusing when you mix in the Romulan Klingon connection there, when you're referencing different stuff. But overall, I like it. Solid 4 out of 5 stars. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, and all the rest of you out there, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please stay tuned for the outro to find out how you can best support my work financially. Make sure, if you're watching this on YouTube, to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, like the video, and leave a comment down below telling me what your favorite class of battleship is in the Klingon Navy. Are you a fan of the D-7, the D5? Let me know down below. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will bid you good night, good luck, and may you boldly go wherever you go. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Secondly, if stream bucks are plentiful, please consider supporting the channel either by subscribing on Twitch, pledging on Patreon, or by grabbing some merch over at the Shock Shop. The links to all of these will be in the About section and in the description down below. Again, thank you to all of our supporters for all of the likes, shares, and views. I really appreciate it, and without all of you, our work here would not be possible. I'm Michael Shockman, folks. I've been your host and commentator, and remember, keep it real, keep it safe, keep it healthy, and we will see you guys all again soon in the next one. Peace off, everybody.